The best World Cup in history is over. Not many expected that it would be hosted on such high level. Not many expected that quality of football throughout the whole tournament. Sadly, even a tournament that good saw some failures. This is top 10 of the expectations that would never met this World Cup. On the 10th place is Polish nationals with Robert Lewandowski. Certainly the Polish were never the favorites of the tournament. At the same time, they never failed as much as they did this year in Russia. At least we proved once more that Robert, unlike Cristiano, just cannot make it happen without any help. In 3 games he had no goals and no assists. Would you pay 85 million euros for a player like that? This is his estimated worth on Transfermarkt right now. Anyway, Robert, train hard and try showing what you actually got in 2 years at Euros, but now you've got the 10th spot. The 9th are the Icelanders. Of course they joined this company not because of not winning the trophy, but because we all expected another miracle from these guys. And they actually started very well with a fantastic game against Argentina, saving Messi's penalty and defending that draw. After that there was a painful loss against Nigeria and even more painful against Croatia the last minute. And you can't really say that they failed the tournament, no, but each game they were lacking something, and in the end we sadly couldn't see the second chapter of this magical story. We all enjoy something new, and this time we had all the reasons to expect a new world champion, just like France in '98 and Spain in 2010. And this time there were 2 very strong teams that could really make it, and both of them reached the semis. First one is Belgium, that showed an incredible game for the whole tournament. Even the Brazilians could not stop them, but the game against France they couldn't do anything at all. Same with Croatians, who slammed through the group stage, then hardly made it through the playoffs. But in the final game they just didn't have it in them, and even though they still stood up and played the most interesting World Cup final over the last years, in the end France for the second time in history won the trophy, and all that's left for us is to wait for the completely new champion in 4 years' time. 7th spot and Neymar. This time the Brazilian was expected to be the main star, and he actually managed to make it, but not in the way we all expected him to. Brazilians had a great team and had a lot of chances to go far, and Neymar just needed to show quality football and not moan about literally anything. And even though he managed the first pretty well, he still cried just way too much. In the first 4 games he spent nearly 14 minutes lying on a pitch, creating all kinds of memes in the meanwhile. How many years are we waiting for Neymar to actually become a man and a leader his team needs? But every year he destroys all our expectations. Maybe he does it on purpose. He's looking pretty persistent with the number of haircuts he changed though. And once again the Belgians. We expected a lot from them. The team was strong in every position, nearly all the players are from the top leagues, and it's not the first year the team is showing good results. Lots of world-class players, De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku, they were all ready for winning. And here's the tournament that could decide everything. But the unbeatable French machine managed to stop him. In the end they still got bronze medals against the demotivated English players. Lukaku became the second top goal scorer, Courtois got the Golden Glove despite his mediocre season, and Hazard proved that Real should go for him to replace Ronaldo. 5th place and the Spanish national team. To be exact, not the team itself but their football federation. How could you change a team's coach a day before the start of the tournament? All the formations, all the tactics went to waste. Fernando Hierro came to rescue, a coach whose face says it all. A few minutes and he's gonna start crying. In the end Spain played without a proper coach and showed a really poor game. They were 5 minutes away from not making it out of the group, but they got lucky. Then Russia game happened. The unreal amount of passes that Spain made did not help. They hardly made it till the end of the game and then got knocked out by Akinfeev. Russians were really pleased with the result, Spanish not so much. Luis Enrique now took over as the team's manager, and we're all waiting for the new victories by the Furia Roja. The 4th place, literally the only player that did not have a great World Cup for the Russian team, Fedor Smolov. The best forward of the Russian league for the last 2 years was expecting too much of himself this tournament, and this was clear from the first game where he was nearly absent on the pitch. Then he got benched, but still was going out as a substitution in every game. The only match he was somehow useful was against the Spanish, but there he had more of a defensive job. It got really ugly when absolutely useless De Gea nearly saved his penalty, but it really peaked in the game against Croatia. There wouldn't be any criticism if goalie would make an incredible save or the ball would hit the crossbar, but he decided to do the Panenka, and we know how that turned out. The only thing that somehow excuses him are his words at the fan fest. Come on further, let's not repeat the same mistakes again. Next are the one-man teams, Portugal and Argentina. In the first game Ronaldo did everything by himself. A hat-trick in the game against Spain is great. Messi was fine also, but his partners didn't help much, so we couldn't really see him at his best. There were a lot of symbolic things at the World Cup. For instance, two of the world's best players not scoring a penalty, or the main event we've all been waiting for is the battle between them in the playoffs. This could settle the who's better debate once and for all, but both of their teams couldn't get past the round of 16 and left home literally the same day. De Gea, surely one of the best goalkeepers in the world. In Manchester United, he shows unbelievable level of skills, great saves, and in the World Cup wanted to prove everyone that he deserves the attention from Real Madrid. But it all didn't go as planned. First game, 3 goals conceded, one of them he scored to himself, and in total in 4 games he made just 1 save. And in the penalty shootouts, it seemed like he could not do anything at all. This was the worst tournament in his career, and his planned move to Madrid is now definitely postponed. And the first, of course, are the Germans. We all remember about the World Cup champions curse, but to fail this badly, no one expected that. A year ago, German youngsters won the Confederations Cup, and it seemed like for the next 6 years they won't have any competition. They had nearly 4 top teams at their hands, and everyone was guessing which 23 of them are gonna lift that trophy. But literally no one of the team had a good tournament. Neuer didn't save, the strikers didn't score, and the rest of the players were out of their positions. Just once it seemed like everything's gonna be okay and the playoffs is gonna go back to normal after the comeback against Sweden. But Son and company played the most sensational game of the tournament. The last place in a group with Sweden without Zlatan and the Koreans is definitely not at the World Cup level. The expectations are not always met, but even with the failures like that, this World Cup is the best in history. It all led to this, the good and the bad. Let's remember once more the best that happened this tournament, and let's hope that Euros 2020 is gonna be as good, if not better.